What's up guys, welcome to another video, and in this video we'll be going over flawless blocks and why you should be using them. So flawless blocks are used in three different ways. Now the first way I'm going to discuss is the most important, but like if you really want to play at a high level, like they're all super viable. So the three ways that you want to use flawless blocks are to block gaps in strings, which I think is the most important. Is the flawless block after your minus. So let's say I do this string with Cassie. Now forward 4-1, let's see, that's -5. So I can time the flawless block to, let's say Jackie responds with her 9-frame mid. I can flawless block the 9-frame mid and do like up 3 just to take back my turn. And then the last way is if you do it via like an anti-air. If you watch Ninja Killer play, he does this all the time. Like the opponent does like a safe jump setup with the jump kick, he flawless block up 2s, gets a full combo. So let me first show you an example of the first one. So I'm gonna have Jackie do one of her plus frame strings that has a flawless block gap. Alright, so check out this string. If I just let him do it, he is +4, so if he's +4, I have to eat his pressure, and Jackie is a pressure character, so I have to deal with more setups and whatnot. So when she does this string, it gives me an opportunity to take back my turn. Now this particular one, I could do 1-1-1 to interrupt it, but that's kind of unsafe, because Jackie has two variations to that string. She can go into a different one where there's no gap, and then if I get hit by that, I get punished, full combo and all that stuff. So let me show you what you can do. So check this out. When you flawless block, it goes from +4 to -1. Now you can't necessarily punish it, but you definitely take back your turn. And that's definitely something you're going to want to do. You want to take away her plus frames, and now she has to guess, are you going to go for a mid, or are you going to go for a grab? It'll be your turn to like start the offensive. Especially against a character like Jackie, you're going to want to like master that gap. And there's a bunch of other characters with gaps. Like for example with Cassie, this move right here that has a flawless block gap. And that one's even better to do because you actually get a full combo punish for it. So let me show you an example. So now I'm going to have Cassie do that string, and I'm going to show you can get a full combo punish for it. Like super easy to punish. And that's why it's super important to know these flawless block gaps. You can test it out in practice. You can have the dummy go to like flawless block everything, and you can see where your flawless block gaps are. But you also want to look at the frame data, because even though you flawless block some moves, stupidly it doesn't change the frame data. I'll give you an example. Let's see, like this one right here. Let's say you flawless block this move right here. I mean, it's punishable anyway, but look on the bottom right, it says block advantage -11, flawless block -11. So certain moves there's really no point to flawless block, but a lot of them that have big gaps, Netherrealm intended for you to flawless block gap it, and you do get better frame data for it. Like a good example is Shang Tsung's forward 2-4-2. That one has a flawless block gap. It's not punishable, but you can still like block the gap. And same thing with this one, you can get back your plus frames. And just in case you don't know, the way you flawless block is like for example, like with Jackie's string, I block the first part of the string, I unblock, and then right before the attack hits me is when I go to block again. It is hard to do. It's like you have to practice like all the gaps, because there's always like a certain timing to it. It's like the same way when you're practicing your combos, you get it in your muscle memory. You do it the same way with flawless blocks. You just every so often you go into practice, get those strings down, and it will help you so much. It will make your life a lot easier online, trust me. So the next important aspect of flawless blocking is the flawless block when you're negative. So what I'm going to do with Jackie is I'm going to have her do her forward 1-2. So let me go switch over to her real quick. Alright, so if I have Jackie do her forward 1-2, let me see the frame data of that. Okay, so she's -4. So she's -4. So here's how this flawless block works. It has a 2-frame window back or forth. So here's an example. If I were to block, let's say for example, Cassie has a 7-frame high, 8-frame poke, and a 9-frame mid that hits close. So if I were to time the flawless block to hit on frame 8 of Cassie's normal on response, I would be able to flawless block the 7 frame, the 8 frame, and the 9 frame attack. So it covers multiple options when you flawless block things. And when it comes to this kind of flawless block after your minus, you have to know the opponent's string, and you really have to know their frame data. So this is when frame data comes into play. And you would adjust your timing accordingly if they're gonna follow up with a 11 frame mid, a 10 frame mid, or whatever. It depends on the matchup, and it is hard to do, and it does require practice, but I'm gonna show you how it works. And then what's important, once you actually flawless block it, you don't want to just flawless block it, because you say they're doing a whole string, they'll just continue the string and your flawless block will mean nothing. What you're going to want to do is, you're going to either want to do an up 3 or an up 2. So what you do is, when you flawless block, you block, and then you press up 3 like immediately. But here's a little trick that can give you an option select for that. Because normally, if you do it really fast, you block up 3. The character does a short hop, or if you do it a little bit wrong, your character jumps up in the air. So let's say your opponent decides to do nothing, maybe you flawless block them a couple times, and then they're like, okay, I'm not going to press any buttons this time because they're scared. Then they see you go off and jump in the air, then they're going to anti-air you and get a full combo. If you do the short hop isn't too bad, but it's an overhead, and as you see it's minus 14 and it's punishable. A high level player would punish you if they see you're going to flawless block and they see that you mess up like that. So when you flawless block, this is how you want it to look like. When they don't press anything, you want it to look like you're just throwing your kick like this. Or if you were doing up 2, just this would come out. So you ask, how do you do that? So when you hold block, you don't let go of it right away when you press up. You let go of block after you press up. So you kind of do it quick. You got the whole block. I messed up there. So it looks something like that. See my inputs? I don't always get it, but that's how it's supposed to look. So I'm going to show you an example. I have Jackie right now. I got her recorded to where she does a forward 1-2, and she'll be able to flawless block all my things in the 3 frame window. Alright, check this out. When that happens, all that comes out is a stand 3. So let me show you this. We do stand 1. He does perfect flawless block. Down jab. Perfect flawless block. Forward 4. Flawless blocks me. So you saw there, I did it in 3 different frames, but all of them got flawless blocked. Now granted, if I just do stand 1 by itself, I'm safe, but I'm never just going to do stand 1. I'm going to do the full string. And then I get hit, and then it's his turn. And if you see, if I press nothing, then he does stand 3, which is actually, he can option select like to 3-3 and do the full string if he wants to, even though it's not that great for Jackie. But like for example with Cassie, I can do the same thing, and then I can option select with 3-4. So it's good, like it makes it much safer than like doing a short hop or a full jump and all that kind of stuff. Now one drawback of this though is that you are wasting offensive and defensive meter. So like if you hit me with a flawless block and let's say shortly after I get you in a combo or whatever, you won't be able to break out of it. So it is risky. But for a character like Jackie, you're going to want a flawless block like that because she's a pressure character and she's just about keeping up her pressure, staying in your face and stuff like that. So that's how like she's supposed to play. So that's good for characters like her, and some other characters can do it too. Like I'll give you some examples. One of Scorpion's best mids, his back 1-4-3, the one where he does, and that one has like a low ender also. That's like his best shimmy, you know, with punish, like normal. So after he does his full string, he's -7. Really good Scorpion players will flawless block you after to keep their turn. Now, you saw I did up 3 in this case. Oh, and let me show you one more thing. It actually option selects back throws as well. So let me show you. Have him on record. He's gonna do the same shit. I'm gonna try to back throw him. Look at that. Because he does up 3, it actually techs the throw. Now, we beat that by doing forward throw. And of course, if the opponent decides to do up 2, then he would counter the forward throw. But you see, you only want to do up 2 if you know the opponent's mid is like you know you can up 2 them, because up 2 is not invincible like the up 3 is. So for example, if I were to follow up with this string right here, yes, the up 2 would hit me, but the second part would hit the Jackie player and it wouldn't really work out. Now, if you're a character like Geras, you're going to want up 2 all day because that thing comes out like in 1 frame. But that's besides the point. So you have to know your character and know when you want to up 2 and know which of the opponent's strings are slow enough to up 2. Now let me show you one thing. Like, this Flawless Block is not perfect. So I'm going to have her again do the thing. But I'm going to have my character do back 2, which is the 11 frame starter. So you see the opponent still blocks it, but it's not like a flawless block. So it's not so bad, but it does, you can mix up the opponent. Like, that's how you would counter it. You don't want to be predictable with the buttons you do in response to a certain string. You want to mix up doing grabs and change up your buttons. Because if you know the opponent's going to flawless block, you don't have to worry so much about them poking you, so you don't have to do your fastest normal. Like, I'm going to give shout outs to my friend Elijah Stacks. He's super good at this game. He's a Jackie main. He's actually taught me like a lot of the flawless block techs. But one thing that I'm thinking that I can do is, like, I change up my mids against him when he does various things to flawless block. So for example, I could do forward 3. See, forward 3, this move starts up in 19 frames. This is really slow. So actually, let me test this right now. I want to see if this works. I'll be so happy. Let's see. So yeah, that would actually work, and he would just totally get hit because the stand 3 is kind of a slow normal. So that would actually beat that. So that's how you would beat people flawless blocking. You gotta mix up your normals, but it adds like an extra layer to the game. And against non-experienced opponents, they're just gonna be scared to push a button. And once they're scared to push a button, you can just grab them after your string. You imagine that you do a string, you're -4, -5. They're scared to press a button. You can get a grab afterwards. That's what's so good about this tech, and that's why you should master it. Now, personally, with Cassie, you don't really need to, because this string you can cancel to the up glow, you can cancel to the shot. You can do this and cancel it. So she has a lot of other options for her strings. So her herself doesn't need it. And she, you know, so I'd rather keep my defensive bar with Cassie. But if you're a pressure character like Jackie, definitely want to master this. It's so good. Alright, and the last use of flawless blocks are the flawless block anti-airs. Now, personally, I don't use it because Cassie's flawless block anti-air up 2 nonsense is complete garbage. It only works if they're, like, you know, in the corner. But I'm going to show you with Jackie's up 2. So, like, this is how you do it easily. Personally, let's see what I do. I crouch, and the moment I want to block, I just stand and block really fast. So that makes it easier for me personally how to time it. You can do your own way, because sometimes it's hard to do because the opponent can change the trajectory of when they jump in. They can jump in a little bit lower, a little bit higher, and whatnot. I'd say you only use this in very specific situations, because most of the time you can just anti-air the character, because most characters have a good anti-air. Like with Cassie, I can just do back 3 or stand 1. That works most of the time. But sometimes there's certain situations where you can force a safe jump setup. What a safe jump setup is, it's like they jump at you, but by the time you recover from being knocked down or whatever, you don't have time to do standing 1, down 1, or whatever normal you use to anti-air. You won't have time to do it, and then you would just get hit by a jump kick if you were to not block, and then you'd have to hold that mix-up. So instead of holding that mix-up, you're going to see one thing, like I mentioned before, Ninja Killer does all the time. He flawless blocks and up 2s, and that's how you counter it. Alright, so I'm switched over to Jackie now. So now I'm going to have Cassie do her jump kick on me.
Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god!
Ain't that great? Yeah, that took me like 10 tries. But like, here's one thing I noticed. But if you do the thing where you crouch and then you go up the flawless block, it's definitely easier to time. But if you do it right, like the jump kick hits you a little bit lower on the ground, and then your up 2 is actually able to be blocked by the opponent. Now granted, the opponent will think they're plus after a jump kick and they won't always block right away. But just saying, when I did it there, I did it standing. So when you do it standing, you could have the opponent a little bit higher, but they can change what time they press the button, so it does make it a little harder to flawless block. But either way, with like good up 2s like Jackie, I got like 294. I could have got 3 something, but I'm not good at doing the 3 knees. So yeah, as you can see, flawless blocks, very useful. The first part I covered, the most important. You're gonna want to know where the gaps are, especially if you get beat by certain things. You're like, man, this seems kind of stupid. Why does he have all these plus frames? Most likely it's probably a flawless block gap in there, like Sang Song's forward 242, Jackie's what was it, back 3-2 or whatever, no, back 3-4. But yeah, there's a lot of characters that have those little gaps in there and whatever. It's so important to flawless block, because maybe you can't punish all of it after you flawless block, but you can at least get your plus frames, you get your turn back, and that's really something good. And another thing I didn't show, you can flawless block people when they do a wake up, but I mean, it's just easier just kind of like just to space them out and punish it, so it's not really a big deal. And definitely what I'd say the hardest one is the flawless block after you have minus frames. Now it depends on your character, it depends what you want to flawless block after, because there's other ways you can do pressure and whatnot, but it's definitely a good tool to know, or at the very least know that your opponent can do it. And if you're fighting a pro player or just a really good player, they're gonna do that stuff. And I'm glad I met, shoutouts again, Elijah Stacks. He's my buddy, my training partner, really good Jackie, showed me the flawless block tech. So it's definitely really important to like know how to fight against it. And if it suits your character, do it yourself. Like Kung Lao, he's a trash character, but like if you, for example, you know the matchup and you know Lotus Fist Lao, he throws this hat where he's with the Lotus Fist thing and he's -4 to try to keep his pressure. If you know how to fight Lao, you're gonna like try to respond with a normal or whatever, just kick back your turn because he's minus and it's not real. Like a really good Lao did to me one time. They went ahead, they flawless blocked my nonsense. I don't think he up 2'd, but he up 3'd, and he kept back his pressure, and I was like, what the heck? So you're gonna want to do that. That's super good. And flawless blocking anti-airs in particular situations are good. Most of the time I would say find your character's best anti-air, because you don't waste the resources like that. But sometimes you have to do it, and it's good. It's a good tool to know. So that's about it for the video today, guys. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time.